Whew, you would not believe the night I had. Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of Beautifully Nerding. I'm your host, Auntie Bri, and today we are going to talk spoilers for Ryan Coogler's Sinners. Now, last week I gave you all my spoiler-free version. I really wanted to talk about this in detail because I just had so many things that I loved about this movie so much, and I'm just like, I just want to talk about it. I'm not going full breakdown like some of the girlies on here do. Like, I love that for y'all, but my attention span is not that great to really have gotten all of the quick thoughts and the memories and the shorthand notes in the theater that I would have needed to properly give y'all a step-by-step breakdown. So we're gonna do the absolute best that I can, okay? So Sinners is about a wild night at Club Juke that is hosted by the Smokestack twins, both played by Michael B. Jordan. Again, just a handsome young man, just arms of a Grecian god. Like, he's love me some him. In this movie, we see the twins coming back from Chicago to Mississippi in 1936, I want to say. You know, they've gotten their fill of Chicago and are coming back home because, in their words, Chicago is just Mississippi, but with skyscrapers instead of plantations, which I didn't want to be the one to say it, but you know, sometimes folks be like, oh, the North was so much better than the South. And I'm just like, but was it? Was it? So the twins devise up a plan to kind of go around. They need to get, music to be played. They need to get food to be cooked. They already have the alcohol and libations, so that's already taken care of. And then they need someone to make, a sign for them. Their small community of friends come together to help them get all of the supplies and things that they need to get their grand opening of Club Juke together. Because, they're going to have their juke joint. And, they want this opening night to be like, hey, this is us. This is where we're going to be. Make sure you come kick it with us. And so within their gathering of community, they get their younger cousin, Preacher Boy, I think his name is Sammy, to play his guitar at the juke joint. And Preacher Boy is fully ready to leave the sharecropper lifestyle. Like, he no longer wants to do it. He's seen his cousins leave and knows that there is a possibility for life outside of what he knows. It's very Belle and Beauty and the Beast. Like, there must be more than this provincial life. I would say maybe the first 45 minutes to an hour is the kind of preparing aspect of it. Smoke goes in one direction, Stack goes in another direction, and I'm realizing that that's how they helped Michael B. Jordan to not have to work quite as hard to play twins. It's like, let's keep them separated. And I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. There are a few times where the twins are together. It's probably less than you're thinking. Ryan Coogler said in an interview that, like, all of the scenes where Michael was playing the twins together, like, they would have to shoot the scene, with him dressed as one twin, make sure, like, the camera was set, get all of the, record all of that, then have him change, do the other character. And you can kind of tell, like, in the scenes where he's passing the cigarette back and forth, like, there's some kind of, like, lingering spots. Smoke hands the cigarette to Stack, but, like, Stack takes a second to actually grab it, and then that kind of back and forth. I don't know, like, was there not a stunt double? Like, you could kind of tell that, like, okay, here's some, like, editing magic here, but, like, it's not that bad. But yeah, so Preacher Boy is very excited for his chance to go and play at this juke joint because he really wants to be a blues singer. Like, he wants to be a crooner, play his guitar. He wants to move to Chicago later and be like his cousins because he's like, hey, if y'all made it out, I can too. The twins go to this old lumber mill yard thing, and they buy the mill because that's where the actual juke joint is going to be. And of course, racism ensues because it's Mississippi in the 30s. Like, of course there's racism. They ask the guy who's selling it if the Klan is still, popping off. And the guy's like, oh, the Klan don't exist anymore. And me and my mama both started laughing because the Klan still exists now. Like, so to try to say in 1930s Mississippi that the Klan is not a thing. Okay. So I was like, this is going to come back around because Ain't no way. They're like, hey, bruh, just know if the clan try to come over here and mess up what we got going on, we gonna shoot them all, and we gonna mess them up, and they all gonna be dead. And I was like, oh, that don't sound like a threat. That sound like a promise. They get the lumber mill. They go around town, get all their people together. They order their food. They get the person to cook the food. They get the person who's going to make the sign. They get the people to play music. We see Preacher Boy, and he got up early so that he could do his share of cropping so that he had time to go into the city with the Smokestack twins so that he could play his music. And his daddy was like, I would really rather you help me with the message on Sunday. Preacher Boy is like, that's real cool and all. I'm gonna go to the city. I'll see you here tomorrow morning. There's 2 exes from each of the twins' past. So Annie is Smoke's ex. You know, I feel like they were probably pretty healthy, and then they had a baby, and the baby actually passed away. And that probably put a strain on their relationship. And then also probably with him leaving to go to the war, that probably wasn't helpful for the strength of that relationship either. And then we have Stack, who was dating Mary. I'm not for sure what exactly their breakup was. She was like, I waited for you, you left, you never came back. But also, when did he leave? Was it because of the war? Was it because of moving to Chicago? Was it when y'all were teenagers? I'm not fully sure, but she is very hurt. He left and never came back. So they each have a female connection that they hold very dear and still have very strong feelings for. But one is a more like deep, loving, protective kind of relationship. At least that's how I saw Smoke and Annie. It feels like Stack and Mary were more so like lustful, whereas they both have love for each other. It definitely just gave more so like your Bonnie and Clyde chaos codependency type of relationship. And that'll come back later. While they are getting everything together, this white dude just falls out the sky. And he goes and knocks on this couple's door, and their house looks like the house from Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like, it's just there in the middle of nowhere. And I'm just like, how else would he have found this house if he did not fall out the sky? There's not another house for a while. And he knocks on the door, and he's like, hey, these folks are chasing me. I need your help. We see inside, and the white couple who lives in this house have a Klan hood, like, chilling in the background. And I'm just like, okay. So like I didn't even fully put together at the time that there may be like further relations. All I thought was like, oh, okay, so we're just proving that like these people for sure are extremely racist. Got you. So the guy's like, these Indians are chasing me. I need your help. Don't let them hurt me. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So they let him inside. They hide him. When the Indians do come and knock on the door, they're like, hey, there's a strange man. He's very dangerous. Like, don't let him in your house. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Have you seen anything strange? And the lady's like, nope. But like, she got the gun trained on him. The native guy is like, I'm trying to help you out. And if you don't want my help, that's cool. Just know I tried. She closed the door. She's calling for her husband. She finally goes to the back. I just realized I haven't said any names. So Remick is the guy who falls out the sky. And then Bert and Joan are the couple whose house Remick goes to. Joan goes back to try to find her husband because he's not answering when she's calling. And we see Remick with like blood on his face. The husband like wakes up and he has now been turned.
Don't cry. It's all better now. Yes, I lied to you.
When the original guy fell out the sky, we could see that his skin was kind of burning, like a sunburn, but in the absolute worst, like it's 3rd degree burns, not just like the sun was real hot, I'm a little patchy. It's literally like pieces of skin are falling off like that. That's the burns he had on him. Now that Remick is inside in the dark room and he's chilling, he has healed back up. He's also fed, so he's cool now, and he has turned Bert, and now they are about to turn Joan. So now we have 3 vampires, which is already 3 too many. And it's 3 white vampires in this very black area, in this very black movie, where You just know it's gonna be all bad. And I'm just like, oh Lord, what we finna get into? We're setting up for the party. You know, everybody's coming over. We got our friend Cornbread working the door. You know, he's just a big guy, so we just need somebody. Everybody's coming in, having a good time, you know, just being able to be off of the plantation. And even though they don't have like the actual dollars and cents that Smoke and Stack are wanting them to use, they pretty much mainly have the plantation money. And essentially, they can only really use that money within the plantation in like that area. And it was just a way of keeping enslaved people from gaining any kind of wealth. If you give them money that they can only use in that area, they can't go anywhere else because that money legitimately has no value. Smoke is really frustrated because he's like, we can't do anything with this money. Like, yeah, we want them to have a good time, but we're about to be in the hole. While everyone is in there having a good time, Remick, I almost said Bert and Ernie, child. Remick, Bert, and Joan come up to the party and they're like, oh, like, you know, we heard there was a party going on. Like, we want to, you know, come and play with y'all. Everybody's at the door looking at them like, don't think you on the right side of town, my friend. And then they start playing their little music. The song that they played terrified me because it's talking about like they picked them clean and parts of them weren't fit to eat and they picked them clean, and I'm just like, y'all over here dancing to the song about cannibalism. Like, I get that it's a cool little ditty, but they're literally talking about eating people. Friend, do we not hear the words? Are we not concerned? I was so concerned, and I'm just like, am I the only one who cares? Why does no one else care? They don't let him in. The vampire trio is like, okay, well, you know, we're just gonna walk away slowly just in case you change your mind. And they end up like sitting outside. They're hoping that the people will change their mind and let them in. And so Mary decides that, you know, as the, would it be Octoroon? Is Octoroon. So Mary decides as the resident Octoroon to go and talk to the people because you really can't tell if she has any black ancestry, but because not just Mary is 1/8 African American, but I also saw in an interview that Haley Steinfeld, like her grandfather, I don't remember if she said half black or I don't remember that part. Her mama's daddy got some black in him. That much I do remember. She was happy for Ryan Coogler have given her this opportunity to explore her ancestry that she really hadn't been able to kind of, you know, put into use because essentially she is a white woman navigating the world. Anyway, off of that tangent, so Mary goes outside to talk to the vampire trio. She, you know, is trying to be representative, talk about like, you know, hey, y'all just want to come and have some fun, right? Y'all got money, like y'all just gonna, you know, buy your stuff, have a good time. She does get a little creeped out. She pulls a gun on them and it's like, hey, I'm about to go back. I think y'all should go back where y'all came from as well. So she tries to head back to the party and she is not successful in her original pursuit, but she does eventually get back to the mill and she tells Cornbread to let her in because, you know, as a vampire, you have to be invited into places. Like when we saw Remick when he went to the Clans couple house, he had to have them let him in. Cornbread's like, oh yeah, you know, like, go ahead, come on in. So now we got a vampire inside the building. I was already like, okay, she's gonna go on a rampage. She finna kill everybody in there. But that's not exactly what happened. So she kind of gets to Stack and she's like, let's go have some private time in this little back room back here. And, you know, they get to doing what grown folks do. Smoke tells Preacher Boy to go get Stack. Preacher Boy opens the door and sees them getting it on and was like, oh, my bad. And then goes back to Smoke and was like, yeah, I can't get him. That's not in my purview. And so they both go back and they see Mary fully taking out a chunk of this man's neck. There is blood all over the floor. Smoke empties the clip on Mary and she falls down for maybe 5 seconds and she gets back up and she's like,
we gonna kill every last one of you.
And so Mary like runs out into the wherever and everybody's like, what's going on, like what happened to the music? And everybody's like, hey, the party is over, y'all go ahead and go home. And they kick everybody out. And then our main group of of planning protagonists are left in there. Smoke is very distraught about his brother. He doesn't want to take him outside, so they lock the door where Stack's body is. This is where like kind of all chaos starts to kick off, because it gets real crazy real fast. Everybody who got sent outside turned. Cornbread, as Delta Slim, played by Delroy Lindo, watched the door so he can go to the bathroom. That's where Cornbread gets turned. So he tries to come back to the door. And it's like, y'all gonna let me in? And that's finally when Annie is like, why do we need to let you in? You've been in and out all night. Why all of a sudden do we need to let you in? Why can't you push your big ass past us?
Let me on in now.
Why you need him to do that? You big and strong enough to push past us?
Well, that wouldn't be too polite now, would it, Miss Annie? I don't know why I'm talking to you anyway. Smoke.
Don't talk to him. You talking to me right now. Why you can't just walk your big ass up in here without an invite, huh? Go ahead. Admit to it.
Admit to what?
That you dead.
And then we start to hear knocking on the door behind them. Pearline is like, is somebody in there? Everybody's like, nobody was in there but Stack's dead body. And Stack starts talking, and they're like, so if Stack is dead, how is Stack talking to us? And it's like, it's because he ain't dead no more. And they like, Smoke, that's not your brother no more. Don't open that door. Eventually Stack is able to like kick down the door. It's starting to get crazy real fast. There is pretty much a full army of vampires outside, just waiting to be let in. I'm just like, just burn it down. That always worked at Vampire Diaries. When you couldn't get into a house, you just burned the house down. Now there ain't no threshold to cross over, and don't nobody own some burnt down pieces of wood. Just go ahead and go in and do what you want to do. But that's not exactly what happens. Grace Chow is like, I gotta go out there and get my husband. He went to go get the car, but he hasn't come back. I gotta go get him. And they're like, you're not going anywhere. But he actually does come back, and he's like, oh, hey, like I got the car warmed up. Let's go ahead and go. And they're like, hey, girl, I don't think you should do that. And then her husband, Bo, is like, or you could just let me in. I come get our stuff. We could be on our way. And they're all like, no, don't do that. We're not gonna do that. Miss Grace is over it because her husband has been turned. She knows that like it's an army of vampires out there. Like, who knows what they're gonna do, where they gonna go, who they gonna turn. Like, her daughter is being threatened now by Remick. Grace is like, I'm not finna sit here and do nothing. But they're like, hey, we just gotta wait until the sun rises. That's all we gotta do. Grace is legit like freaking out, but Annie is like, okay, so these are vampires. I thought they were one thing, but they're actually vampires. So we need garlic, we need silver, and we need wood stakes. And they make everybody who's still inside eat a piece of garlic to make sure they ain't turned, because they thought there was somebody who had gotten bitten inside, but actually he had like fallen on some wine or liquor or something. I don't know. He fell on something. So they threw him outside, even though he wasn't actually dead, which ended up like giving him to the vampires. And now he got turned too. Everyone eats their piece of garlic. They see that, you know, nobody who's still inside has been turned. And so like they're getting their arsenal together. But at this point, Grace is fed up. They're trying to cover her mouth, but she screams for them to come inside. And everyone's like, well, shit. So they have to like gather up their weapons. They know it's about to be an all-out bloodbath. But we find out that the reason that Remick is so dead set on coming to this party was really just because he wanted Sammy. Because Preacher Boy has some kind of power with music and mystical, magical, MacGuffin mumbo jumbo that allows his music to go between the realms of past and present and future. Remick is actually stuck in this time period, and he wants to go back to his family, his people, and he needs Sammy to play the music or whatever so that he can go back to whatever time that he's actually from. Because he has like some gold coins, and he's like, this isn't actually from this time, but it is like solid gold. And everybody's just like, what kind of money is this? So we don't even fully understand. We do get a lot of information about how important that music is and how Sammy has this power and we get a really big scene of the different like eras of music. Like we go back and we have like traditional African music, we have like, we come all the way up to today with like modern hip-hop. It's a girl like twerking, like it's centuries worth of music. It's not even just a time experience, it's also a cultural experience, because there is a Chinese dancer from like in traditional clothing who's also there. So it's not even just like let's get the history and the future of Black America. Let's also show a diaspora of all the people who were here and, contributing. Because the movie as a whole, there's such an exploration of different cultures. Like there's Irish music in it, like there's Irish dancing in it. There's so many different things that are explored musically. That's why I said in the spoiler-free video that it's kind of a musical to me, because there's so many songs in here that are just like an exploration of how music has changed and what music means to people, and like music's effect on culture. Like music and sound in this movie is a character in itself. And you really have to pay attention to what song is playing, what sounds are happening, how those sounds affect the characters and what they're doing. And it's just so beautifully put together. Like it's just, oh gosh, this movie is so good. I cannot wait to see it like 13 more times. But yeah, so Remick wants Sammy to open the door to whatever time that he needs to get to. Everyone is just like, over my dead body, which is about to happen, because like I said, Miss Grace was like, y'all could go ahead and come on in, because at this point she's over it. She, she's sad because her husband got turned. And I'm just like, so you didn't even try to save your daughter. So we just, okay. Long story short, everyone kind of runs in. It's a bloodbath, and Annie gets bit, and she made Smoke promise earlier that if she does get the curse, that he has to kill her. And that's when Mary and Stack are like, oh, this man is real serious. They go to run away, and Mary stays gone, but Stack actually comes back again later. They end up fighting, and like Smoke doesn't kill him, which I feel like you would have been doing your brother a solid by ending him with this curse. It's your blood, it's your family. It's real hard to do that. So I get why he didn't. Finally, it seems like it's just all of the vampires versus Sammy. And, Sammy goes back to his roots. He says the Lord's Prayer while he's literally like standing in a pool of water. It's very symbolic. Remick kind of baptizes Sammy, like because he dunks him in there a couple of times while they're saying the Lord's Prayer and like talking about it. And it's just so much is happening. And I'm just like, I really want to do some more deep diving to see what all this means. Like, because I know there's more symbolism in it than just like y'all are standing in some water and he's trying to drown him. Because he wasn't trying to, if he wanted to drown him, he could have. But he literally splashed him in there, brought him back up. So like it's symbolizing a baptism. And I'm just like, why? Just when we feel like all is lost, Sammy is able to grab his guitar and bash his Remick over the head with it. There's like a silver plate on the guitar, and the silver plate gets stuck in Remick's head. And since all of the vampires have like a hive mind, it hurts everybody. But Remick is able to pull the plate out, and we're like, okay, so this is it for Sammy. And Smoke comes out of nowhere and it's like, bam, in the back. That's it for Remick. Even though the stake was in his back, it went through his heart. And now the sun is also rising, so like he is unable to pull the stake out while also fighting the sun burning him to death. Smoke and Sammy, the lone survivors from that night, because literally everyone else has died. Smoke sends Sammy back to the church, where he goes in and kind of just like goes to his daddy, and it's just like, you would not believe the night I had. Smoke decides to wait because Remick and the clan couple told them that the guy who sold the mill to them never intended for the Smokestack twins to keep the mill. Like the plan was always to come back and kill him. They very racistly pull up to the sawmill in the morning and say some very racist things. Since Smoke knew what was going to happen, he has a whole little plan laid out. He's like in the trees, like sniper position ready for them. He comes down, he got another gun like hiding in the dirt, and I was like, what in the rebel red is happening right now? He does get shot once, starts to lose a little bit of blood. And as he's losing the blood and bleeding out, he sees Annie and their baby that passed away. So he's like right on the cusp of being dead. But right before he dies, he is able to kill the dude who sold them the meal and, you know, set him up to be murdered. So either way, they folks was gonna die. And so he's able to, you know, hold his baby, and then he passes away. Yeah, that is pretty much the end of the movie. As the credits roll, we see that Sammy actually did make it to Chicago. He is a blues singer. I think it jumps to like 1992. And after his performance, he gets 2 guests, and it is Stack and Mary, because they ran off into somewhere and were able to hide in the darkness. Stack is like, Smoke made me promise to not to do anything to you, whoop, 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 this, that, and the third. Honestly, the movie could have ended like 3 times by now, and I would have been satisfied. Sammy is like, before the sun went down, I would have said that was the best day of my life. Did it feel like that for you? And Stack's like, yeah, because that's the last time I saw my brother. That part really took me out of it. And that part is really just a recap of all the cutesy loving moments that we already saw in the movie. And I'm just like, but we saw that y'all were having a good day before that part happened. Like, that was the whole point. That's why we were so invested when shit hit the fan, because y'all were having a great day before that. So I just didn't care for that part. It's like when, like, at the end of the movie where, like, it shows like what all the people did after the Jesus graduated from high school and went to, like, it was that, and I was just like, we actually don't need this. But yeah, I skipped over a lot of things. I'm definitely going to see it again. But yeah, if there were other parts of the movie that you felt like were either like really symbolic or really important, like, please leave a comment down below. I would love to discuss with y'all like what your favorite parts of the movie were, because I'm so excited to watch it again and see what I probably missed in the first viewing. Be sure to subscribe for more movie reviews, breakdowns. Don't forget to like and share with all of your friends. And yeah, with all of that being said, I'll catch y'all next time. Bye.